Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I've got several metrics to share with you that we need to be talking about in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. One of them, obviously, price. Of course, one of them is price. But what else should we be looking at? There are all sorts of other things to consider when we're trying to, figure out what will be the path forward for XRP. Well, how about the number of new accounts created per day? How about the total number of accounts? How's that compared to what we saw last market cycle? How about average daily volume? How about that? Because I'll tell you, the levels that we're seeing for all of these metrics, it's dwarfing what we've seen in recent years. It's just ridiculous. And so it is neat to see that we've seen such positive price action in the recent days. I think this is going to be nothing compared to what we see later on in this market cycle, likely this year. So there's this headline also from CoinDesk. You gotta love seeing this, because CoinDesk, my gosh, they've historically not been particularly friendly to Ripple and XRP, but here's a headline. XRP doubles in 7 days, heads for biggest weekly gain since December 2017. My friends, we are getting back in some ways, and you'll see in this video, we are getting back to, for some of these metrics, levels that we have not seen quite literally since December 2017. It is an exciting time to be an XRP holder. I portend that this is the most exciting time in the history of XRP to be holding XRP. I firmly believe that. And there's so many reasons, not the least of which is that I personally believe anyway that the price action we're going to see for the crypto asset class this market cycle, likely this year, and we've already seen a lot this year, but it's going to absolutely dwarf in terms of dollars what we saw last market cycle. It will dwarf it. I feel very strongly about that. I mean, hell, frankly, it already has. And you're talking about a market cap that's hit over $2 trillion, whereas last market cycle, at its peak, I think what we hit, like somewhere around 850 million. And we're nowhere near done. Like, this is still going here. So there's a lot to be excited about. The last all-time high for XRP, I think it's going to be, what, at least tripled? Something like that. I'll not be surprised. I'm not going to make an actual price prediction, but I will say that I won't be surprised if we see it somewhere up around there. But to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto, and that is all that this is. So that's what's up. Take a look at this from xrpscan.com. What I have on the screen here, the middle chart here, it's titled Number of New Accounts Activated, and this is going back over roughly the last month. So from dating back to March 11th. Now, already, and I'd highlighted before the most recent uptrend, by the way, I should mention this. Before that, I made a video where I was just highlighting that we're seeing some pretty consistently solid and high account activations on a daily basis. And so as I'm scrolling through this, you can see, for instance, on March 11th, there was 2,466 created. And look, I'm just scrolling through, you can see the numbers if you care to look at the screen. But basically, it's hovering around more or less. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. Pick your day, but about 2,500 new accounts per day. I think it's fair to say. Somewhere around there. Now, that was already substantial in and of itself, because if you go back to the beginning part of 2020, just a year earlier, you were getting on average, and again, it could be higher, it could be lower, but typically you were seeing about 500 new accounts created per day. So this is an increase of fivefold we were already seeing before XRP took off most recently and blasted a bit past $1.50. Right, so it was substantial already to see that. That was an important metric to track, and I pointed out, I was like, look, guys, volume is picking up. You're seeing more accounts getting creative. These are all things to be aware of that can be indicators that, hey, there's still interest around this. Might the price pop at some point in the future? And it sure as hell did. But it gets even more exciting. So if you take a look, what happened after the price started going? Well, let's take a look at April 5th. You had new accounts created 6,275. The next day, 8,322. And then the next day went down a little bit. You had a little bit more of a lull, but still, even this was up. 5,322. Then the next day, April 8th, 4,300. Next day, 4,469. And then April 10th, 7,880 new accounts. My friends, these are metrics worth being aware of. And so here's what I'm going to predict you'll see. I'm not going to make a price prediction, but in terms of new account creation, I certainly suspect it's very likely that there will be individual days when we get to the craziest part of this parabolic price action, which I think is inevitable. That's my humble opinion. I believe you're going to see new accounts created on a daily basis in the tens of thousands. And I don't think it's unreasonable to suspect that, especially if you consider what happened last market cycle, because you did see it trend upward. And I believe some of the days, I'd have to go pull up the chart for that time period, but I believe there were some days where it was like over 20,000 created. And so now there's way more humans in this and way more money flowing in. Don't you think there's going to be substantially more than that? And if there's that many more people, like, isn't it reasonable to suspect that the price will continue to drive up? It's just one thing to consider. There are other metrics also. But look at the total number of accounts now. 2,728,007. And you can see this on the website ledger.expose. This is the XRP rich list. And you can see there, over 2.7 million accounts, whereas back in December 2017, it was more like a million. So it went from roughly a million accounts, it may have been a little bit less than that actually, up to 2.7 million. And so with that many fewer people within the XRP ecosystem, XRP still ran from 20-something cents to almost $4. There are way more people in it now, and there's way more money flowing in right now. What the hell do you think is going to happen? I've got an idea of what I think is going to happen. Well, I've been talking about it for 2.5 years now on this channel. What about volume, though? Because, look, volume is always important. Volume can be a strong indicator of potential upward or downward price action. Now, we're in a bull market, and clearly XRP is participating in it, and we're seeing crazy volume. And so I got this from Crypto Bull 2020, who wrote the following. Volume for XRP just passed the volume during the 2017/2018 bull run. If true that volume precedes price, moonshot incoming. And that is true. Volume does precede price. And so, again, you don't technically know for sure if it's up or down, but guys, we're in a bull market. Like, what do you think it's going to be? And with all the analysts that I'm following here, it's hard to find somebody that's bearish on this. It really is. It's hard to even the XRP haters that are chart analysts. They're coming around, and many of them are even purchasing it and publicly stating that they still hate XRP, but they think it's going to make them money, so they're buying it. That's something, right? I think it's finally fascinating here. And then there's this piece from CoinDesk. XRP doubles in 7 days, heads for biggest weekly gain since December 2017. XRP, the digital token used in Ripple Labs' payment network, headed for its best weekly performance in more than 3 years after doubling in the past 7 days. Prices for XRP are up 118% in the 7 days through April 11th, according to TradingView, using pricing from the Bitstamp exchange. That's the biggest weekly gain since December 2017, when the token jumped 215% in a 7-day period. Yeah, so you're going to see massive jumps. In fact, and I highlighted this in a video, my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer, just a couple days or so ago, he noted that in one single day, XRP jumped up 36 cents. And that was true at the point in time when he tweeted that. I talked about it like, I don't know if it was like 6-8 hours later, whatever it was. And at that point, I think it was more like, what was it up? It was more like 44 cents up or something. I can't remember for sure, but it was up even higher in one freaking day. You know, that's more than what XRP was worth in like the later part of December of 2020, just several months ago. So the swing that we saw in one day was greater than what XRP entirely was worth just several months ago. And so the markets move quickly. And so what happens is people are people, and they're emotionally driven when it comes to buying and selling, which is unfortunate, but they are. And so, you know, they can get burnt out. All these other cryptos taking off this and that. But my XRP, it's just trading sideways. Oh my gosh. Well, it's not going to move on your timeline, child. But I want my XRP moon mission now. And I want my Lambo now. That's exactly what I hear when people talk like this. That's what it sounds like, a whiny little child. It's not going to go on your time frame, and if you have a problem with it, I don't know, are you diversified? Or, you know, like, were you not aware that historically XRP moves last in market cycles, but it has the biggest booms? Were you not aware of that either? Like, did you do your homework? You know, because I was aware of that. I've been talking about it the whole time I've been running this channel. I've also diversified. I'm fine with that. I don't know for sure when XRP is going to take off. I just wanted to make sure I had my damn exposure. And if it pops off towards the end of the market cycle again, okay. But if it goes sooner, which I wouldn't suspect that, but if it does, I just wanted to make sure I had my exposure, you know? So yeah, opportunity costs to do anything in life, but we don't have functioning crystal balls. So who knows exactly when all this is going to happen here. But like it's gonna come when it comes, and I'm gonna be Mr. Patient. I'm not gonna be like the child that whines and then gets out of a position because it's not happening when I want it to. So it's like, does that sound too harsh? I'm not like I'm mad at these people. I'm just saying, I see this stuff like quite regularly. People jumping in and out of positions, and it's just, I know these people get wrecked. They absolutely do. You know, and sometimes when people time markets, they luck out and they think that something's going to go down in price, and so they'll sell, and then it does go down 5 or 10%, and then they buy more, and then they spout that all over Twitter, and they think they're geniuses and they're bragging about it. But when I see people doing that, I'm just like, well, there's a person, glad it worked out for you. But what I think when I see that from people, you know what I think? I'm thinking that's a person with a bad strategy. Because you're talking about picking up 5 or 10% gains or whatever the hell it may be for that particular instance, and you're risking like potentially thousands of percent gains. Because if you miss the rocket when it takes off, and think about how much price can change in one day, if you miss that, you miss it. And that can be a major loss, and you don't know when it's going to happen. All it takes is you being wrong one time. You could have a string of instances where you're bragging about how much XRP you pick off. It's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row, and you're picking up like 5% each time. But that one time you missed the massive increase, well, you just wrecked yourself. Good luck. It's like, I don't participate in that stuff, man. I ain't got no damn time for that. But this is exciting where we're at now. It's all the metrics that I think are important to look at, just me personally, they're looking good. And so it's just a matter of time before this thing really lights up. But at some point, I firmly believe XRP will hit its all-time high, and it will blast off into a new realm of price discovery. There will be a lot of pullbacks along the way, and I will not emotionally respond to that. I'm just going to hold. Haven't sold a single XRP ever in my entire life, but I'm going to at some point, as soon as it makes sense to do so. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.